Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show. Sometimes you need to be super motivated in order to be successful and achieve more. So today we're going to talk about 4 ways to supercharge your motivation. Honestly, these are 4 simple tips that I think will make a world of difference for you when you find yourself unmotivated, not interested in trying to move forward, not trying to progress in any way. If you can remember these 4 tips, I think you can have a tremendous amount of success. But some of them are a little unorthodox. So welcome to the Chris Hanna Show today. We're going to talk 4 ways to supercharge your motivation. Coming in at number 1, get angry. That's right. I'm talking about getting really upset and frustrated about a situation. Sometimes anger can actually be such a fuel for motivating you to actually succeed. If you think about it, there are probably times in your life where you've gotten so upset, so angry about a situation that it actually pushed you in a direction to move forward. I can tell you about a time in my career where I was really upset. I was upset that I didn't get a position. I tried applying for a promotion. It didn't happen. It made me upset. I thought I was justified in getting that position or at least interviewing for it, but it didn't happen. Long story short, I took that as motivation to do something about it. And what I did is I used that fuel to invest in myself and decide I'm not going to now let my fate be decided by somebody else. I'm going to start to work on my own business. And with that came the investment of time and energy put into trying to figure out, how do I build a website? How do I start to put my name out there? Is there an opportunity for me to set some goals for myself to maybe speak at an event or write some blog posts or become a featured contributor and sharing content with a wider audience? Ultimately, that led to producing this podcast because I was so upset about a situation that it fueled me to actually take action. So sometimes getting angry can be beneficial if you challenge yourself in the right way and you channel that energy in the right direction. Getting angry can supercharge your motivation. Another way to supercharge your motivation is just challenge the status quo. Don't do things the same way that they've always been done. It gets boring, repetitive, but it also doesn't produce outstanding results. Sometimes you need to shake things up. You need to make it different, make it better, look at things from a new angle. Challenging the status quo, or what I also like to call is challenging the process, is important. That's how you can drive tremendous innovation and excitement and enthusiasm within a team or an organization or business too, is by challenging the status quo, seeking to disrupt, if we want to use that cliche word that is quoted so many times nowadays, but you want to disrupt what's going on. Whenever you can challenge things, you're thinking about it from a new perspective, a new way of tackling any sort of, whether it's a project or a task or anything that's thrust your way, think about it differently. That can unleash a tremendous amount of motivation for you and for others who might be working with you. The third way to supercharge your motivation is to appreciate the value of time. We only have so much time available on this planet. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can never get time back. So you need to appreciate the time that you have. And I think it's important that you set self-imposed deadlines. And if you can set really tight deadlines for yourself, that can actually force you to be more motivated to accomplish certain types of tasks or work. You might drag your feet on something if you are given a time frame that is way out into the future. But when you pull that back and you make it a tighter timeline, you start to realize that you can produce what I call the minimal viable product, and that you can give just the essentials that you need to give without all the extra fluff, but it's also usually of higher quality work because you have to put in the effort to get things done. So it comes down to the fact that you appreciate the value of your time so much more. I find that this is the case for me. when I need to accomplish something, I like to try and rely on batch processing as much as possible. So I'll do similar themed tasks together, but I'll set a goal for myself to say, I need to accomplish X number of tasks. Let's say it's blog posts. I want to write so many blog posts in advance within a certain time frame, and I need to get this accomplished. Well, what it forces me to do by appreciating the value of time is that I know this is the time I've allocated for this task. I need to get it done. I can compartmentalize everything into subtasks, and I can come at it prepared, ready to go. And I realize that I only have so much time available to get this done before I need to move to something else or to spend time with my wife and actually have some downtime. So I need to use the time that I have effectively. So I appreciate it so much more. So I'm going to maximize that time as much as possible. So you have to appreciate the value of time because it is so valuable. Because again, once it's gone, it's gone. The last way that you can supercharge your motivation is fearing that your fears come true. Think about the worst case scenario. That could be something catastrophic that happens to your business, something that happens to you personally. What if you could never do something that you really, truly always wanted to do for some reason? Last thing you want to do is have a life full of regret, and you fear that you miss out on an opportunity, or you fear that you should have went for something and you didn't do it. When you know what those fears are, but you fear not taking action, it can be pretty powerful. From my perspective, I used to always think that when I attended a conference that I could do that. I could speak at that event. But I never did it. I never applied. Multiple different conferences I would go to, I'd see the call for speakers that would go out, and I didn't do it. But then I had this realization that, you know what, I can do that, and I think I would regret not applying for it. Even if it doesn't work out, I got to put myself out there. Part of it was the anger that I talked about earlier, getting angry and being, channeling that anger to turning into something. But I started to realize that I would regret it if I didn't at least try. And there are times where I've applied to speak at events and it's worked out, and that is fantastic. And there's times where it hasn't, and that's okay too, because then I learned something. I've learned, well, maybe that's not the right topic to pitch to that event, or maybe my proposal wasn't as good as it could have been. There's an opportunity to tweak it, and you learn lessons along the way. But I feared never being able to speak at an event just because I had some apprehension that maybe I wasn't good enough, or maybe I wasn't as established or well known. Sometimes all you need is someone to believe in you and take a chance. Sometimes one person might be making a decision of whether you're the person for a particular opportunity that comes their way. And you might be the best person for it, but if you never try, you're never going to get noticed. You got to put yourself out there. So my fear was not ever having done it, but there's no point in fearing that anymore. You got to just try. You got to put yourself out there. So again, this episode of the podcast was 4 ways to supercharge your motivation. I'm going to give you a recap again. Number 1, get angry. Channel that anger. Use that as fuel to really get yourself motivated. Number 2, wherever possible, challenge the status quo. There's always new ways of doing work. Why don't you try some? See what happens. You might be really happy with the result. Number 3, appreciate the value of time. It is the most precious resource that we have. You'll never get it back when time is gone. Use the time that you have effectively. Be smart with your time, and you can be happier as a result. And number 4, fear that your fears will come true. Regret is a powerful thing. For me, that was the piece that was important to remember. I don't want to regret not having done something. That was my fear. That pushed me to put myself out there in a variety of different ways throughout my life. Maybe it does the same for you. Curious if you got other ideas of how you can supercharge your motivation. If you do, leave it in the comments below, or hit me up on social media, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, at Chris Hanna Show. Look forward to hearing from you guys, and I look forward to another episode of The Chris Hanna Show again next week. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Chris Hanna Show. As always, the latest episodes are available to listen and subscribe to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow The Chris Hanna Show on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter. For more resources and solutions, including blog posts, toolkits, ebooks, speaking sessions, and more, visit chrishanna.ca today. We look forward to connecting again with you soon for another episode of The Chris Hanna Show.